Listen, I saw the film the other day. I loved it. I think, yeah, last night. I think that is not only a good film to watch, but it's a necessary film to watch and to expand all over the world because it really, the message is wonderful. Could you comment on the importance of the power of a film like this, talking about non-binary people, which is it's a great tribute to tolerance, I think.
Do you want to go first, Liv?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I just think it's important that that films with non-binary people in them get made. So I'm glad this exists. I hope more of them continue to exist.
I consider very important because we live in a very limited, repressive society. I don't mean the US, I mean the world when it comes to certain topics. And for some reason, I don't know why we're not allowed to self-identify any way we want. Why do we have to be a boy or a girl? We can be a person. It's a person. I don't know. So can you talk about that? Liv, you're smiling.
Well, it's just I mean, I came out to my friends as non-binary when I was like 16, so it's coming up on 9 years. So it's nice to be able to talk about it more publicly than that now.
How much is the movie a love story, a tribute to love?
Oh, it's massively a love story, I reckon.
Yeah. I mean, fundamentally, the film came from a place of, wanting to encourage empathy. And I think that's something that, the world needs. The world tries to teach you that you've got to be tough, you've got to be hard. When really, I think the truth is that, you've got to find that kindness. You've got to you've got to be empathetic. So I think that's where the story came from.
And why did you decide to have 4 people playing Danny?
Yes,
I thought it was very original. It was very original, I think.
So that was Rainan's idea. So Rainan was the producer. But yeah, we essentially felt it was essentially that it worked on multiple levels. That, for one, there wasn't going to be one representation of this non-binary character. And then, this is centering on a gender non-conforming lead, that we wanted to explore a non-conforming narrative that would encourage the audience to ask questions.
Liv, or are you when do you love music like the character?
I don't know how to play the guitar, but I do. Yeah, I do really like music.
But you know how to play the guitar?
No, not at all. Oh my God, no. I remember sitting with Rainan, who the producer, who is a very talented musician, the day that we shot that, and it was just like they made a simplified version of the chords of the song for me to play, and I practiced it for a number of days to try and make it look convincing, but I don't know how to play the guitar at all.
Yeah, it looked convincing. What did you like about Danny as a character?
I like that they're very open and quite unapologetic about how they feel, and they make space for themselves in relationships and as an individual for their own experience. I think that's very impressive.
How much do you think them past determine who they is right now?
Well, it's the same with everybody, right?
Childhood, yeah.
Yeah. I never really thought about Denny's childhood so much.
It's true. It's not necessary to know that, right?
No.
So they.
I think one thing as well that was great about the having 4 different actors play this character was that everybody brought a slightly different interpretation. That there was this, there were different textures, there were different dynamics, and I think that's something we wanted to encourage. That was something that I think ultimately, assisted the arc of Danny and sort of the film as a whole. Like ultimately, I wasn't 100% sure, how this convention was going to sort of fold out. There's been a couple of films that have done the sort of ensemble casting lead. There was the Bob Dylan film, I'm Not There, about 15 years ago. There was a Todd Solondz Sundance film from about 20 years ago. But, part of it was just sort of discovering it during the shoot and sort of being open to the possibilities and open to what the different actors bring.
So I have one last question. Do you think the pandemic has helped independent filmmakers to get more presence within our culture, considering that Hollywood blockbusters are not invading our brains because they want to make money and a lot of money, and they're not making, right now there are not movie theaters out there.
I can't say that's occurred to me. No, I miss the world very much.
Yeah, I don't think it's really been my experience. It's been, obviously it wasn't the way we expected to put this film out. The last year and everything that's occurred, you try to make a positive of it. And I think there definitely have been maybe like the different festivals, the virtual festivals. We're coming up with screening at Santa Barbara. Those virtual screenings are sold out. So, there's some positives, but I think ultimately, the business end is still very difficult on an indie filmmaker. And so certainly as we go into distribution and all that side of things, it's not encouraging for the indie filmmaker. So you have to really love it, which I do. So that's okay.